Alright, so I just had a long couple conversations and I was thinking, I'm finally really tired and it's right around the time I wanted to go to sleep, so I'm gonna go to bed. I was like, I'm not gonna let tired stop me. If I have ideas and thoughts, I'm gonna let them out now. So part of me being very exhausted with this, especially because I think specifically this whole interaction took a lot out of me. Feeling anxiety I haven't felt in a long time now, relatively, I don't know, not long time, like it hasn't been years or anything, but it's been almost a year. I haven't felt that anxious, and then I went into 2 conversations with my 2 parents that, really, it brought up so many feelings and just I think most out of anything, the fact that it was like I was going back to those situations and everything that made me so anxious, and it was like my heart was palpitating. Like I said in the one video, I got that tight feeling and then that anxiety and then that heart, crazy heart, but then the sweats. I was like, I sweat normally a lot, but it's like when I get anxious, it's like, like my armpits are crying. But going off of that conversation where I left off with the fact that I realized after that other video that I watched of Unks, I didn't finish a sentence, that the reason I didn't know where the fuck to go or what the fuck to do when I got here is because I didn't want to live the only ways that I've been taught to, and otherwise I just had to live by the new demonstration I had here or actually look inside. And instead of doing either of those, I just wanted comfort after finally being out of the situation that I was in, and that comfort turned into going to more and more different vices and distractions because the one coping mechanism didn't work anymore. I went into it knowing about more things and being more aware, so that cognitive dissonance had to be hit even more than anything else. So I think we left off with his response being, when he started he had the 3 paragraphs within his message and said that he didn't need to relive his decades of abuse and gaslighting me and telling me I'm being condescending, but also keep reminding me that, telling me, basically trying to switch the power, that control, because here I have this safe space to be coming from to just tell him the truth without having to worry about my safety, like getting kicked out of my home or having awful backlash or fucking up my relationship with my dad, even though it's not me fucking that up, it was him doing this shit. And I'm just being truthful now about it and not lying and letting him get away with it anymore, because it's like you keep doing it and then you keep don't going to either copes that help you to treat people a little better for a while, or vices that distract you from your own shit but then you're still treating people like shit. But then something big happens and then you go straight into even worse coping mechanisms and things that and just treat everybody around you like awful pieces of crap because that's the abuse you went through, and without or with being conscious of it, you are that thing. My lesson of the day the other day, I guess this is the new lesson of the week after I learned the other one, but you're just projecting. I've been projecting. I'm understanding that. And I'm not taking your bullshit. I'm not taking your gaslighting, and you're not switching the power here. We're equals. It's staying like that. And yeah, so I responded. First message: you are not facing that abuse. You not facing that abuse is exactly why you cannot heal. It's reality. It is reality, so it's the only way unless you're living in fantasy. I'm not someone who's always like my way or the highway, or like you gotta do what I say. I don't give a fuck. Like, you can build your house and have your backyard in the front if you want, and not be following the schematics. But with this, it's 1 + 1 = 2. You gotta look and face your shit to be able to heal. You cannot say that you are healing. Whatever. And you can't say that you love me if you won't even look at this. You're one of the, out of the 2 people who caused all this for me, you are half of it. And you aren't facing that. You're not admitting any of it. And like I said, I don't need you to do that for my own healing. I can heal without either of you. That's why I'm going to block you after this. Because I can't keep putting my energy into it. Because it's just the same cycle and circle over and over and over again. You just talk around yourself and talk around the actual issues and tell me that you're doing it. Gaslight me, manipulate me. Not having it anymore. This conversation's the end. And I'm going to be sending my mom these video links soon. So, and then blocking her as well. So both of you guys will have the way that you can contact me. I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you to hear either of you talk as agents of the state, or from your programming, or from your abuse, or cutting me off, or telling me I'm wrong about simple facts like this. Like, it's pretty basic that if you have a wound, it's gonna get worse unless you actually fucking take care of it. And if it still hurts, then, you know, that's gonna keep affecting you. Or infecting you, you know, the same way that you leave a open sore and it gets infected, it's gonna keep infecting you. And, you know, that's gonna go to infecting other people, because especially if you're trying to deny all of it right now, you don't even realize that you're doing this stuff to other people. You don't even know why you're yelling at them. Like, it's, at least I understood a little bit of that when I was still in the middle of it, but that's another thing. All these things I'm coming to and realizing, I wouldn't realize unless I sat down, slowed down, thought for a little while, actually thought deeply, like have a little thought, and then sit there and like, ponder it, go a little deeper. Maybe like, why am I feeling like this? And then of course, like, well, maybe I'm feeling like this because of this other thing, and then, you know, it all ties into this other thing, and then uncovering different things. You know, you're not going to grow and you're not going to heal if you just keep lying to yourself. So, yeah, first message being, you not facing that abuse is exactly why you cannot heal. It is reality, so it's the only way unless you're living in fantasy. If you don't face that abuse, then you project it on others or use copes to cover it, and that makes you feel fine, and helps you treat others better for a little while. But then something big happens, and because you haven't faced anything else, it sets it all off. Then you project this on the ones you claim to love, and then if they don't face it, they do the same. So it's this whole trickling down of generations and generations of people doing this to each other and my family. And it's like, if you don't come to it within yourself, then you're never gonna heal. Like, I can't be sitting here expecting them to come to me. They can't expect their parents to come to them. I mean, my mom doesn't even have that option with one of her parents. If her mom was someone who was perpetuating and or causing things for her, like, she's passed. You can't rely on your abusers, you know. So yeah, I just want to make clear that that's not what I'm doing right now. That's not something you can really do. So, third message I sent, it's simple that you have a wound that still hurts when thought about. If you had a physical wound, and I went off the thing that I said in the last video when responding to him, I was like, if you had a physical wound that still hurts, you wouldn't be caught putting a band-aid on it at all, let alone, because specifically he is like totally against band-aids because it's just covering up the problem, you know. There's no real benefit of a band-aid. other than unless you're like going into something and you don't, like I was saying, like a job, you put the band-aid on so you can function instead of bumping your open wound into things and then opening it up again or whatever, like big things like that. But it's like he would never be caught dead putting a band-aid on himself at all, let alone a band-aid on top of a band-aid or distracting yourself from it. You do something to really mend it, because ignoring wounds and going about your day or covering them up just makes them worse, probably infected. Last message I sent in this: your unfaced abuse is affecting everyone in your life. To which he responds, Gwen, and he starts off with his most violent depiction of what he could possibly mean ever. Like, I use these metaphors, and I'm going into the fact that, like, you have an open wound on your body instead of a physical, like a mental wound in there, because of the fact that it actually connects. I'm not just being violent out of no reason. But he's over here like, there's more than one way to skin a squirrel. Bitch, please. Not when it comes to 1 + 1 = 2. Is there another way to get 2 out of an equation other than if it's fucking 1.5 plus 0.5? It's still the same amount of things to equal the same amount of things. You can't get that by putting fucking 50 bananas in there and being like, oh, I have 2 bananas. You are literally gaslighting me. You are pushing a cart in front of my face that has 50 bananas and telling me that you only have 2 bananas. Shut the fuck up. You have no clue where I am at in my life. Gaslighting me again. I'm your daughter. I've lived with you my entire life. I came from you. You raised me. So, yes, I have a general idea and consensus of where the fuck you're at, especially because, as I'm about to say, I can get a lot out of just having this damn conversation with you and still feeling the same way I normally feel, and not just from my own unhealed things. So you have no clue where I'm at in my life, so do not assume I am not / have not healed. Which one is it? Are you healed or are you in the middle of it? It doesn't even sound like you know. Me not wanting to join your online journey does not indicate one way or the other, and it certainly does not negate the fact that if you would like to say something to me, I prefer you do it to me to me, not through some YouTube video where things can most certainly be misunderstood. Things are only misunderstood because people have always taken my words and as soon as he said that, I was thinking about the way that he would talk about my words being brought up in court, and the fact that anyone could misunderstand or skew my perception if it wasn't me specifically coming in and talking. That would be the way that he would nudge me into actually physically coming in there and going through all that stress myself that wasn't even for myself, because that's a whole other thing again. So that was what I thought about, though. It's like the fact that, no, like, it's not getting misunderstood. You are skewing what I'm saying. It's pretty plain. I'm saying 1 + 1 = 2, and you were saying that you have 2 bananas when you actually have 50. And the fact that you're saying that not watching my online journey, it doesn't indicate one way or the other, and certainly does not negate the fact that if you would like to say something to me, I prefer you to do it directly. I am literally talking to you right now. I'm saying everything truthful that I would be saying, that I am saying in these videos. I mean, I'm probably going more and further into it as these videos are going along. That's the whole purpose of actually having these, because I'm getting even more thoughts out. But the fact that I can sit here in a text message conversation with my parents, and instead of getting cut off or that power shit getting put on me, or like, just being caught in the moment and immediately not knowing what to say, in a phone call, I have the time to sit here, read, think, reflect, actually think. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I get to reflect on these and actually think before I speak. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'm finally thinking before I speak, and you don't fucking like it. Here you guys go. I'm thinking before I'm speaking. I'm telling you guys the truth. You don't like it. You don't want to face it because you don't want to face your shit. You don't want to actually heal. If you wanted to actually heal, if you wanted to be a good parent to me, if you wanted to be a good parent to all the little children that you're child laboring around in your house to make your life fucking better and easier for you, then you would sit down and heal your own fucking shit. And you wouldn't be ripping all these vices away from these kids, but then still putting all these vices into you. And then telling them, oh, they have to get rid of these vices and make real life connections with you. But then how the fuck are we supposed to connect with our abuser, especially when they won't even actually admit the fact that they're abusing or have been abusing us? Or perpetuating the things that are abusing us by putting us into these systems, by putting us into this world. So I responded, I'm calling out the truth currently, not persuading you to watch my videos. As I said, that is fully up to you. What also is fully up to you is really healing. I know that you cannot be healed just by the way you were speaking. I know that you cannot be healed just by the way that you were speaking about your past as if it's something disgusting, as some disgusting thing you can't look at or touch. I'm understanding things from having this basic conversation with you in this moment. Second message I sent. Also, such a gory and violent depiction of your meaning is an indication. Third message. Within the first 3 videos that you had seen, I speak on the recent situation of Teg's hospital trip. Since things may be yeah, see, this is me being a little petty again, but also just, being truthful. But yet again, I will completely admit that honestly, the way I'm saying things right now is petty because of that anger. Yeah. Still, even as I'm feeling this, like I'm feeling this raging lion inside, and I'm just trying to let it slowly come out calmly, because I know that letting out anger the way that I would not even be helping me. It would just be hurting me. So letting this out this way, calmly speaking, tempering that anger, but letting it out, and that is really helping me right now. And it's like, for all the people who call me crazy and like I couldn't control my emotions and thoughts, here I am tempering myself so I'm not screaming at your fucking face about all the bullshit that you're throwing bullshit after bullshit, trash, falsifications, and lies in my face, gaslighting me, acting like you love me, abusing me, and all this shit. I'm coming here and I'm telling you straight facts. And I'm leaving because that whole list of things I just went into that you're doing to me is completely unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable for anyone to be doing to me, let alone my father, let alone my parent, let alone a bringer of me into this world. You were meant to do a lot of things you never did. You were meant to do a lot of the things that you try and act like you are currently doing by loving me and giving me this place to come back and call me and contact me if you really want to have a meaningful connection. You should have tried to have a meaningful connection with me my entire life, but you can't do that unless you face your shit. You can't have a meaningful connection with your kids unless you have a meaningful connection with yourself. You cannot love us if you don't love yourself. So face your shit. So yes, I am getting fucking mad again. It's kind of waking me up, and I don't, like I said, letting the anger out in that way isn't healthy for me, isn't a good thing. If anything, may hurt me. So I'm letting it out calmly, but this anger bringing me back to being more awake, and instead of me being tired, like, those blockages normally come up when you start talking about real shit. It makes me think a little bit about the fact that maybe this anger is something it's not really good. But it's a feeling I need to feel, and I'm letting it out in a healthier way than I could be. Alright, so his last response, and something I still haven't necessarily responded to, but might type out my response here so that I can just kind of form things, have this last video on it, and wrap this shit up, because I really just want to get this feeling out of my life, like this anxiety, like, I feel sick putting myself back in the situation, like, absolutely just sick, sore, and worn out in a bunch of different ways, just this one conversation. Well, this conversation and the one with my mom, and then everything else being real with myself. It's been tiring, but I know it's what I need to do. And it's also like these detox symptoms and these tiring feelings are also, they're different than the pain and the tiredness that I was feeling when I was constantly putting myself in, and perpetuating my own shit, that those are negative feelings, but that don't feel good. But the feelings now, those detox symptoms, this tired feeling, like when I'm tired, I actually get rest now. When I'm feeling the detox symptoms, I know then that I'm going through something that needs to happen for me to feel not shitty in the end of it, and it's just leading and is my healing. So he said his last message is, and again, he's starting it off with Gwen, like it has to be so formal, like there's anyone else he could be talking to in this situation. Okay. He said, Gwen, you're totally off base. Just flat out dismissing, gaslighting. You're not understanding me at all. Okay, so you're also like not even coming here with anything other than just like things. It's offense, it's not even like, or it's not offense, it's defense, it's those defensive things, like you're not understanding me at all, you're totally off base, like, just, I mean that by like, you're not even bringing up points anymore. You're just defending yourself from mine, and not even in a way that you have a point against what I'm saying, the truth, because you really can't, and because I'm calling you out on your bullshit. Same way I was with mom. So if you can understand anything in those first 3 videos you watch, then I'm sure you can end up grasping this. It's just you have to face it, you have to understand, and maybe you're not fucking right. Maybe you don't know everything. And of course, I don't know everything. I'm not saying that. You're clearly acting like you don't need to do all this shit and that you're whatever. But anyway, so he says, Glenn, you're totally off base. You're not understanding me at all. There's no disgust in my words, nor am I saying I can't look or touch. There's a big difference between facing and processing the abuse and watching someone else face and process their abuse. Okay, so again, 2 things. One, if you were healed, and I'll get into that again with the last little bit of his message. If you were healed, you would not only be able to see someone else going through that process, but you would actually be able to help them go through that process. And maybe not directly like trying to help them, but just by being you and being around, that could help them. Just like Ankh and Brandon, they're healing themselves and they're healing each other. They're being around, and not that they're healing each other. They're not like trauma bonded or anything like that. It's just that, healed people help each other, just like hurt people hurt each other. It's crabs in a barrel bring each other down. Well, I guess people floating along on a balloon hold each other's hand, you float a little higher. I don't know. I don't know. That's a little weird of a metaphor there, but I always go to something. But yeah, and second thing being that if you can't watch me going through my process of abuse that you put on me, for one, and for two, you can't watch me. You can say, oh, this is such a great thing for me, blah, 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 and you want to have a meaningful connection and a real conversation and all this shit, but then I say real things. I have a real situation going on and meaningful shit going on and all this stuff. Meaningful things I'm saying, and you don't want that. You're saying you do, but I'm giving it to you and you're completely dismissing it all. So look into yourself, use a fucking dictionary, just like mom, realize what the fuck you mean by the words that you're fucking saying, and align your words, thoughts, and your actions. It's fundamental shit. And go back and watch Unk's videos. You guys are brothers. He probably puts into words that you can understand, especially because you probably went through similar things growing up living in the same house. And I can take a lot from that in those videos and branch my own thoughts off of his and things like that, and my own situations connecting and relating. And So I'm sure those things would help you a lot, even more than my videos, or at least as much, so maybe do that. But so his last little bit, the next paragraph in his last message, he said, for example, so him trying to go to these metaphors like I do, but it just being awful. For example, a meth addict. Wow. So me processing my abuse that you put on me, you're gonna connect me to a meth addict. And at first I didn't even think about that, but Unc was straight out helping me with some of these things, because at that last message he sent that on my way towards Unc. I was just feeling all this panic inside, and as soon as I started talking to Unc, it was like, I can settle down a little bit. I know I'm safe here. I know I'm okay. Like, it is a crazy feeling, but I'm not the crazy one here. I'm not even saying you're crazy. I'm just saying I'm not crazy, And Ash helped me realize even more things going through this conversation, and furthering that conversation that him and I had, even after talking about this. That again, I was still connecting things even back to this and back to more videos I've been making, things I've been thinking about with myself. It's just everything's connecting and bringing into this new net. It's like I'm getting out of that box and creating my own neurological connections, and my brain's growing right now. Let's go, buddy. Okay, so he said, for example, meth addict. Great job, Dad. You're gonna compare your child to a meth addict. You're gonna say that you can't watch your child's process and healing. Oh, not only can you not stand from a place of love and actually see that, or admit the fact that you do have a part in that, so maybe that's why you can't watch and sit and watch this stuff right now, but also the fact that this was actually something you were meant to do. If I had gone through something so traumatic or whatever, you were supposed to be one of the two people that were fucking there for me to heal, to help me heal, and help me go through these things. And, yeah, you gave me a bunch of copes and vices my whole life, but literally right now, you were saying that you cannot be someone who is even seeing me go through my process, let alone actually being someone who's helping me. So, Unc is yet again, I don't know, it's just like Unc is really being that so much for me, that I mean, between I am being that for myself, and he and Brandon are giving me this space and this environment and these real conversations and everything that everyone needs as a child. So it's like, I don't dare compare them, especially for there's a multitude of reasons, but no, I don't compare the two, but in this situation, I did just think about the fact that it's like Unc is doing everything for me that my parents should have been doing now, my entire life, like everything. So you really compare me to a meth addict. So he says, for example, a meth addict that gets clean, they can face their past, they can talk about it, but watching someone else go through the withdrawal has a different vibe. Bruh, a meth addict. Okay, so healing that meth addict, going through our little rehab systems in this society, they might not even actually heal unless they go through this process of going back and like, oh, why did I start, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, just the same sort of questions that any of us are doing. Like, it's like, well, I went to this vice. Well, why? So I got addicted to meth. Well, why? Why were those feelings in my life like this that was making me want to do this and escape? And why was I going to that? What was it doing for me? Why did I feel like I needed to have that to do that for me? So unless they actually go back and do all of that healing, they're not even really healed. They're just like, because then you see those people who go through rehab and then they end up just going back on the thing when they go through a relapse. And they have to go through rehab again and again and again and again, understand. So, yes, unless these people who are meth addicts do the actual healing, and some of them I think really do, because even in those rehab facilities, it's full of a bunch of people who used to be meth heads, or, not full of, but like, some of those people had to have actually been from that place. And I mean, how many of the people who sit there and are in those, you sit in rehab and you have those big long circle discussions, and there's that head honcho person who's not a rehab patient. There's someone there who's been through all of this shit, but they're actually there to help you along your journey because they know how the fuck to get out of it. And you're telling me right now this doesn't make any fucking sense. You're gaslighting the fuck out of me. You're saying that someone who's been there, they can talk about it, which you can never fucking talk about it. So I don't know what the fuck you're bringing that up for. They can face their past. You haven't faced your past. You actually actively have not faced your past if you can't go back and think about it, if you can't blah blah blah. I've already said that. And they can talk about it, but watching someone else go through the withdrawal has a different vibe. That doesn't make, maybe it has a bit of a different vibe, but maybe it's because you feel like you can actually relate to or connect to that or something, other than the fact that, oh, I can't watch this because I have a part in creating this. I can't watch this because, oh my god, I have the same feelings. Oh my god, I can't. Yeah, okay, it's making you feel sick. Sit with it for a little bit. Slow down. It might be a lot to take in it at first. Yes, not even it might. It would definitely be a lot to take in, especially if you're still in all of this and still surrounded by all these things, and you still are lying to yourself saying that you're healing or you're healed. You don't even fucking know, but just keep lying to yourself and everyone around you, and keep on with these vices, keep on constantly distracting yourself and escaping, and then, taking it out on other people, and, you're not gonna heal. Never gonna heal. Always gonna abuse everybody around you. And that's why I gotta get myself out, because, I mean, yes, that reproachfully long list of things that you are currently and have been doing and perpetuating in my life, but then also the fact that it's plain and simple. If you are going to not face your shit, then you're going to keep abusing the people around you, so I'm not going to be a person that's around you. It's the same thing with mom. So, if I don't even think I'm gonna respond to this. I'm probably just gonna send you these videos if I do anything, and let you know I'm blocking you, cause yeah, I'm just not dealing with this anymore. I'm not. I can have these feelings come up and then, like, slowly sit with them and think about them on my own. I don't need to. I don't. I don't need to go to you and have a whole new situation to then talk about and think about. I have these things now, these videos I can go back and look at anytime I think, oh, I miss my mommy, I miss my papa, I want to go back to the way I was living life because of all my comforts and everything I miss because I'm used to it. No, I'll remember exactly how the fuck I was feeling now that I went to the point of blocking both of you, sending you these videos, and how enraged I am that it's been going on this long, that, oh, just so many things all at once. It's all very simple though. It's all so simple. It's so simple that you can't sit there and grasp it if you're letting it fly by and have a million things, and if you have 50 different screens on, right, and you're still smoking, you're still drinking, you're still watching this YouTube video, you're still watching this modality, you're still feeding into this bullshit, you're still eating this, and like watching this porn, and then fucking your wife, and then blah 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 blah, doing all these things at once just to, and then you try and think, oh, having this one screen on with a little bit of the truth, and you can't even handle that. you gotta slow down. You gotta slow down. You gotta get rid of everything the fuck else. And have a little less of this. But at the same time, don't let this just fall away and become just one of the many different fucking things in these 50 screens. And right now you're not even letting it fall away and be one of the things in the screens. You are completely hiding from it and saying whatever. Can't deal with it. You are literally saying you can't handle your own feelings. You can't handle what you've already been through. You've already been through it. You can do it. Like I'm saying, I'm not trying to dog on you. I'm being honest. I'm being really fucking honest. But I still believe in you, just as I believe in anybody else. You're obviously being opened up to this, but you're refusing to believe it. You're, whatever, believe it, actually heed any of it. I don't know how to word that, but you're not taking the necessary steps into what you're saying you want. So it's just gaslighting, gaslight, 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 gatekeep, girl boss. My goodness. But yeah, no, and I mean, if you're saying that you see that this is actually working for me, even though that's weird, because to me, it's weird that you would say that about my videos, but the whole time you've ever talked to me about Unk's videos, it's like, oh, he's just some crazy ass motherfucker who's blaming everything on everybody else, and then, hating on women and whatever the fuck else you want to say. And it's in reality, he's the one who started this. He was making these videos a long time before me, being way, like at this point, being even more into this honest, real talk, and even more things unraveled from that crazy tangle of a mess. Um, from him actually going back and facing his shit. Yeah. And really, like, those videos that he's been making, the tread that he's been, well, treadway or whatever that is, the run, whatever the fuck way that he's been making into his headway that he's been making into his own healing, and these videos where you can just plainly see everything. It's all so basic, the things he says, and it's just really very simple concepts, and very simply helping him. Like, you can see it does this works, the blah blah blah, this 1 + 1 = 2. And out of anything, that is the most like, I don't need people coming and being, I mean, though I do very much appreciate the support, because it's like I am finally going in my right way of life, but I don't need any support other than from myself. And the word I'm thinking of right now is the support, but I know it's this other word that I'm losing sight of right now. That it's just that those videos, the realness that he's speaking, and the realness and the fact that it is helping him, and just the way that you can see that he doesn't even need to tell you, but you can also see in the way that he speaks about things, being truthful about it, and letting his emotions out, and, like, being truthful about the fact that it's not always just this pleasant, happy, high dopamine hit ride of, oh my god, I'm finally healing, yay. It's gonna be, oh my god, I'm healing, I'm detoxing, oh my god, this shit hurts. I feel like I'm going crazy because I want meat. I feel like I'm going crazy because I want something, or anything to distract me from all of this. Like, all those different things are documented, and so it's just all real. That is the most supporter, kicker, pusher to keep going in this direction. Yeah, Because as I said, why would I take a grain of salt from appreciation and support that someone has for my thing? Or not appreciation. Appreciation's nice, because that's something that is really, I feel like it's a deeper connection with it. It's like you relate to it, appreciation for it, and yeah, in that way, if you use the term right. But yeah, so I don't need those compliments and that support, just like, why would I take a grain of salt from that if I don't take a grain of salt from all the bullshit people would feed me about this shit? So the only thing that I really take a grain of salt from is the realness in his whole journey, you know. And that's why I will always say, like, go back and uh, look at Unk's videos, look at Brandon's videos, because if you can see just within the first 3 videos I made that this is actually working for me, or it feels like it's working for me, then, I mean, again, look at theirs, as they've made it even further. You can see how, like I'm at the very beginning. I'm still crazy and tangled up in this bullshit. I'm still have my foot in the door halfway between worlds right now, slowly moving in and out of this other thing and in this stuff. But now they've gotten really far in their different points, and something Brandon and I, we always end up connecting at some point in our, or not at some point. It's like anytime we're both going through something big, the other person is going through something where we can relate, that sort of thing. So I finally came out of this 8 months, and like taking what I can from it and moving on into this healing stuff. And he's doing the same thing, or he was doing the same thing the first day I came to talk to him about, like, he fell back into some things, experiments and whatnot. We justify it that way, same way I was saying, like, all these 8 months of experiments. As soon as he said that, I was like, oh shit, we really are at the same fucking, like, not, I'm definitely not at the same place as him with this. I'm saying it's just that, like, even at those different levels, like, I can still relate to these things that are currently going on with them, and in those past videos of theirs I can look at. So yeah, and then it was like we were both getting out of experiments and taking what we can from that, and then moving forward and still documenting these things. And yeah, so I just think it's fucking awesome, and one of those big ways that him and I are connected, that we go through similar situations so often at the same time as the other one. And it's like, even when we haven't actually discussed the fact that we're both going through things, like in high school or whatever, and he lived with us, and blah 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 blah, I don't know, I just felt like there were these things that would, I could see it. Ah! Synchronicities make me so happy. And it's just another reminder that I'm actually on the right path, being the path that I know is real and truthful. So many different things I'm learning, and so many different things I'm taking from other things, and then yeah. So you're not healing just by saying you are. You're not healing by going to your copes. You're not healing if you can't face your shit. And you haven't faced your shit if you can't hear about someone else going through it. Get the fuck out of here. Deuces.